Don't go far from your TV sets. Tonight we discuss volunteerism in our community, next on Views and Vibes.
I am for the child who's had 7 addresses in a single year because she's in foster care, because her father abused her, and her mother couldn't believe her. She is the child I am for. I am a CASA volunteer. I am you.
One of the things we try to do here at CTV is provide balance for all the negative images portrayed in the traditional media with some of the brilliant work people are doing in our community. One such important issue is the amount of selfless and sometimes seemingly invisible volunteerism happening all around us to better the lives of the legions of people in need. My first guest this evening is the founder of Pedal Share, chairwoman for the Ebony Horsewomen Incorporated, and she's a member of the board of directors for the Ward 8 Farmers Market. Please welcome to the show, Ms. Heather Lawson. What's up, Heather?
Hey.
Good to have you on the show.
It's good to be here.
Now, see, Heather and I always have a chance to talk at Eastern Market. I have her on the show to actually break down all the magnificent things she does. I mean, she's always out there busy working in the community. But I want to talk about Pedal Share, because I remember when you first got this started,
right,
when you were first trying to get it started, and some of the problems you were having. But tell me a little bit about Pedal Share, what it is and where it came from. Where did you get the idea for that from?
Right, so Pedal Share is basically a service project about bringing some joy and comfort to people who need it most. Mm-hmm. The tool I happen to use is flowers.
Nice.
Yeah. And so basically we take flowers that have been used at special events like weddings, receptions, awards dinners, banquets, you name it. And instead of allowing them to go in the trash, we rescue them and then we repurpose them, rearrange them into small bouquets, bring them to nursing homes, hospitals, homeless youth shelters, battered women's shelters, and primarily we try and spread the flowers throughout Ward 8 DC. And how the idea came to me, I can't take credit for it.
Okay.
You know, we've talked about this before, and honestly, Pedal Share is this thing that sort of hit me while I was watching TV one night. And I'm a fan, at least I used to be a fan of these shows, like the huge wedding shows where it's like over the top and everything. And, you know, I was sitting there, ooh and ah, like, oh, that's so awesome. And then it hit me that the flowers that this one couple had imported from God knows where, that cost so many thousands of dollars, like, would be there for that event. And then I couldn't imagine where they were going afterwards because there were so many.
Right.
And then after that, it was like, those things are going in the trash. That's not right.
Shameful.
Yeah,
right.
It can't be right. And so from there, Pedal Share was this thing that just kept bugging me, bothering me, waking me up in the middle of the night, asking people questions. And so really, I always say that God gave me the idea because I tried for 2 years to not do Pedal Share. Right. We talked about it. And it was this thing where I was like, nobody is going to believe that I'm not taking their flowers and selling them by the side of a highway somewhere.
Right.
You know, no one is how am I going to refrigerate the flowers? How am I going to transport the flowers? You know, you can't just walk into nursing homes and hospitals, I don't care what you bring in, you know, without some sort of a partnership or some sort of an entree to the facility. How was I going to develop those relationships? And by the way, I'm an attorney, so I know nothing about flowers. I mean, I know a little bit more now, you know, 2 years later, but at the time, none of it made sense.
But you know about relationships, though. You know, that's something as an attorney, you have to work with people and find out the best method to get them whatever it is they need.
So I do, and so I know that as a community servant, not necessarily as an attorney, right? And so as a community servant, as a lifelong community servant, I know about building with people and trying to reach common ground and really connecting with people by explaining exactly what it is that you're trying to do. And I think that what I found is that the folks I've come in contact with were able to discern that my intentions were pure, and that you know, this was just about trying to spread some joy and spread some petals and not anything else. I don't sell anything. When I go into the facilities with our volunteers, who we call pollinators, who are the best people on earth, you know, we're not trying to convert anyone. We're not doing anything besides just trying to lift spirits and let people know that they haven't been forgotten.
So how did you break down those walls? How did you get people to say, okay, I trust you to take these flowers and do what you said with them?
Right.
You just smile and say, hey.
No, that didn't work. No, not the smile. But, you know, I think the earnestness. Just going in and saying, hey, listen, I'm thinking about doing this thing. If I'm able to get it off the ground somehow, would you be interested in me bringing your residents some flowers? And I just started walking around like that and asking questions. And some people said, yeah. And some people said, well, get back to us, you know, where you kind of get things rolling a little
of course.
bit.
Bandwagoners, we know.
Bandwagon, right. And so that it was really about getting one person to trust me, right, on the event planner side. And I have to send a shout out to Sapphire Events, who they were the very first company to call me and say, hey, listen, you contacted me a while ago about what you're thinking of doing. We have a photo shoot this, like, in 2 days. If you want to come get the flowers, they're yours. And so I came and I was super excited, and another friend of mine came and took photos. You know, the goodwill started from the beginning. And then I'd gone in and spoken with someone at a local nursing home in Ward 8. At that time, it was called the Washington Nursing Facility. And the activities person was interested when I spoke. And then when I had flowers, she said, sure. And she walked with me the whole time. And it kind of started from there.
And so what have been some of the reactions you've had from these people that you've brought these repurposed flowers to? I mean, I know for you, it has to be a magnificent feeling just giving, but to watch their faces, what kind of reactions have you received? And
so you hit on a really good point when you reference what I get, what we get, our volunteers, our pollinators, and then also what the folks who we serve get. So what I say is Petal Share really is a circle of service. Everybody gets something and everybody receives something. Just to backpedal a little bit, even the process of rearranging the flowers, our volunteers, our pollinators tell me all the time that, God, this is therapeutic. You know, it's an opportunity for me to just focus on something beautiful and pay attention to something. And I can tell you, the vast majority of our volunteers know nothing about flowers either, but they do know about good energy, and they do know how to pour themselves into something to just create a beautiful look to the eye. And so they're getting something. And then when we go into the nursing homes, my gosh, we have heard everything from God bless you, thank you, today is my birthday. To I was just going in to visit my mother, but I didn't have anything to bring her. Thank you for this. Now I can bring her something when I go visit. The guys love the flowers as much as the ladies do. Yes, and they get a kick. I have to tell you, they really get a kick out of women bringing them flowers for once, you know. And it's really, it runs the gamut, but it is, at the deepest level, it is just appreciation all around, and it is a feeling of knowing that you have not been forgotten. And so that's what we get back from those who we serve in a variety of ways, just a deep gratitude.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. We got to go to break, but I want to give the pollinators a shout out for helping out with Heather. Fantastic job you guys are doing out there. We have to go take a break. We'll come back with more Views and Vibes right after this.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Welcome back to Views and Vibes, everyone. I'm sitting here with Heather Lawson. We're going to switch gears, going from her founding of Pedal Share to something else that she's very, very passionate about, and that's horses. And you're also the chairwoman for the Ebony Horsewomen Incorporated, right?
That's right. That's right.
Goodness gracious. So tell me about this. How did you first get involved with horses in the first place?
Right. So first of all, Ebony Horsewomen Incorporated has been around since 1984. Okay. We're out of Hartford, Connecticut, and my mom founded it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're talking about a generation thing here.
Exactly. And so we actually started as a women's group. Mm-hmm. My mother just felt like, you know, black women didn't have many options in terms of recreation.
Right.
You know.
And did she grow up around horses as well?
Her exposure to horses is kind of strange. Apparently, the story goes that she grew up across the street from someone who had a horse. Okay. But it wasn't like a recreational horse. It was a horse that pulled a wagon for
like fruits and vegetables.
Something along those lines. I know I'm making my mother sound like ancient, but there was
you are.
I'm so sorry,
but
this is how the story goes. And so she would interact with the horse, you know, mm-hmm. here and there, what have you. Then she went to the Marine Corps, and there were horses wherever she was stationed or something, and then she had a lot of interaction there. But really, the real engagement with horses came much later when we were all born, my sister, brother, and I, and we were back in our hometown. There was an organization called the Ebony Horsemen.
Okay, wow.
Right? And there were black cowboys, black urban cowboys who've been riding, and at the time we had a place in our largest park in the state, Kinney Park, called Sherwood Forest. And they would ride their horses all throughout and what have you. And there were those crazy guys who would, like, you know, be in a parade just riding down the middle of the street with these horses. And it was incredible because it's like black men on horseback doing the cowboy thing years and years and years ago. So I'll never forget, you know, my mom, our families were friends, and one of the original Ebony Horsemen, John Ward, invited my mother and I to come and, hey, you guys can come ride our horses. And we went and we took a few lessons with him, and it was just in his backyard or something. This is in the city, too, by the way. Wow. And we loved it. We loved it. And so we kept going, and wrote a little more, and kind of got decent. And then my mom said, you know something? I know a lot of black women who would love this. And so along the way, she founded the Ebony Horsewomen because she thought that it would be an opportunity for black women to have something other to do than raise children, go to work, and shop, basically, go to the grocery store. It was something different. And so it took off. It really did. And so we, for a good long time, were an organization of women who were learning how to do drill riding, and we were participating in parades. We're actually the first and only black female equestrian organization in the country to participate in the Pasadena Tournament of Roses, Rose Bowl Parade.
Nice.
Yeah. So so we did that for a long time, and then we got to a point where it became very clear that the youth needed something. You know, it was during the time, like late 80s, when there was a lot of teenage pregnancy, there was a lot of drug abuse among teens, there was a lot of the dropout rate had increased dramatically. And so during the course of several years, Ebony Horsewomen, which is how we still, you know, how we got that name, Ebony Horsewomen transformed itself from a women's organization to a youth development organization. And so since that time, we've served thousands and thousands of youth who come to the program from their neighborhoods. And I think that's one of the things that's very special about Ebony Horsewomen is that we have always believed that good things should be found in the neighborhoods of the kids that we serve. So we are in the north end of Hartford, Connecticut, and many people know Connecticut as being one of the richest states in the country. As a matter of fact, I think it's like the 4th richest or wealthiest state in the country. But the north end of Hartford does not look like that picture at all. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of crime. There's a lot of things that deter kids from living the lives that they could live.
Something very familiar.
Exactly.
It's everywhere. Right.
Exactly. And so, but then there's also a lot of good stuff there. But unfortunately, you don't hear that, right? If it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
And so that's what we hear most of.
Right.
So what we always wanted to do was stay in the community where these kids were, so that the good things that happen in their communities could be at their fingertips. So we are there. We have, I think right now is 16 horses and a pony.
Wow.
And we have like a petting zoo with goats and chickens.
Now,
and
where do you
rabbits
keep
and
these
everything.
guys? I mean, they're not right in the middle of the city, are they? They're not like downtown.
Oh, we are right in the middle of the north end of Hartford,
Get
Connecticut.
outta here.
Yes,
Okay.
we are. We are in the urban community,
That's
because that's
amazing.
where the kids are who we serve primarily.
Right.
And so a lot of the kids that we get walk onto the equestrian center, you know, or they catch a bus. It's on the bus route.
Right.
And we are definitely on, we're on 337 Vine Street. Vine Street is one of the major arteries of the north end of Hartford.
Wow.
And so it's all about being accessible.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing. One more thing I want to talk to you about.
Sure.
I have to talk to you about your new endeavor, doing community gardens. You know, and this is just a passionate thing for me. I remember
Yeah.
being a kid when we were in Brooklyn, you know, passing community gardens and having a chance to just pick things out of people's gardens and stuff like that. And as soon as I saw you doing it, I was like, yo, this feels so familiar.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with that? And why is it important for community gardens to exist?
Man, I tell you, so I grew up with a garden in the backyard,
Okay.
right? And so my grandpa.
Again, in middle of Hartford,
In the middle of Hartford,
you
right.
guys really just brought the country to the city.
Not really even the Caribbean, because my grandfather was from Jamaica. And so he had callaloo and all sorts of things. And my grandmother, of course, was from the country. So we had collards and we had all the peppers and okra and all this other stuff. And we had a huge pear tree in my backyard. So, you know, we did have a lot to eat from, you know, at our disposal,
Right.
at our fingertips. And I grew up with that. And so as I got older and got, you know, a little apartment here in my house, I didn't have much space, but I would grow things in pots. So how I became introduced to the community garden is a good friend of mine, Charles Taylor, actually asked me, hey, I'm gonna get a couple plots in this local community garden. Do you want to garden with me? And I was like, heck yeah. Like I can, you know, get my hands in some real dirt and spread out. And it's funny, to him, it's like a small plot because he's used to larger scale gardening. And to me, it's like huge because I'm used to pots. So it was a nice marriage. And so we just kind of started, and he knew some things to grow and I knew some things that I wanted to eat.
Right.
And we kind of met in the middle. It's a good partnership because, you know, like guys, you're like, I have 3 things that, you know, 3 rules. If you follow these 3 rules, you can do whatever you want. And so that's sort of been the arrangement. You know, I keep it organized, we stay organic, and no flowers in the garden beds.
So you can't even grow the flowers that you might want to bring to, you know,
No,
fellowship.
but I do use make very good use of the periphery of the flower bed. So there's a way to get around it.
Nice.
But I can tell you during our time there, we have grown in 2 beds, and we'll be growing in a 3rd bed come fall.
Wow.
And it's made a difference not only for me. For me, it's like therapy. You know, I go there and just kind of lose myself. And it's interesting, a lot of the lessons of life I've learned from the garden, or rather they've been reinforced, let me say that,
Right.
you know.
We actually have to go to break, so we'll continue some of that when we come back.
Sure.
On the other side, when we come back from the break, we have another guest joining us to talk about volunteerism, and we'll continue talking to Heather about some of what she's doing. So just stick around. We'll be right back after this.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Cheers. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back to Views and Vibes, everyone. Joining us for the final segment on volunteerism is the founder of BUYU. Beautiful You, Yes You, Miss Tariiq Kelty.
Hello.
Welcome, Tariiq.
Hi, how are you?
Glad to have you here as well today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Tell us about BUYU. Beautiful You, Yes You. Where did that come from?
So Beautiful You, Yes You originated out of my personal story, coming from family that was drug addicted, both of my parents being raped and molested at a very young age, at 3 years old, learning that I was not beautiful, that I was not good enough, that in order to love me, you had to hurt me. And so I thought that if I helped those young girls that were in the same situation as me reach back once I got to a position that I started to love me, then let them know that you're beautiful, and not just beautiful you, but yes you, to have to put a confirmation on it.
Right.
So that's where Beautiful You came from.
That's nice. Now, how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing Beautiful You since 2007.
Wow,
Yes.
that long.
Yes.
And how long did it take you to actually get the organization going? Because when I talked to Heather about Pedal Share, I remember that process was a long time. How long did it take you to actually come up with the concept, fully form it, and then actually put it into practice?
It was actually immediate for me.
Really?
It came to me in a vision.
See, Heather, you're slow.
Not
the
slow.
first time.
And so it came to me in a vision, and I woke up one morning and said, I'm going to do Beautiful You, Yes You. And I just started telling the young ladies that live around me, I'm going to start an organization for young girls to build their self-esteem. And we started with 15 young girls at Benton Road Library.
Wow.
Yes.
That many that soon?
That soon,
And
yes.
now, how far have you grown since then?
Wow. So now we have 2 offices in D.C., one in Woodland Terrace and one in Benton Terrace. We have over 200 participants now
Get outta here.
in Beautiful You.
And now, I'm sure you said 2007 you began, right?
Yes.
So it's been 8 years. I'm sure
Yes.
some of the young girls have become women.
Yes.
Are they still participating? Are they helping you out? Are they volunteers as well?
Yes, they're actually volunteers now. The mentee has become the mentor. So now
Amazing.
we teach in Beautiful You that everyone reaches back and helps someone and pull them forward. And so once you get to a place where you feel like, I've not really made it, but you feel like you're confident within yourself, now you can reach back and help that young girl that was just like you.
Now, what are some of the activities that you have the young girls participate in?
So I tricked them in the beginning. I'm a belly dance instructor, so I tricked them by belly dancing.
Okay.
And that's a way of also building self-esteem, is belly dancing, because you show your belly. You're very naked, so to speak, with each other. And being naked meaning that you're showing your true colors. You're showing who you truly are. And so we belly dance with these young ladies. We take them on trips. We do arts and crafts, activities. We also do self-esteem building courses. We do GED courses. Everything that you can imagine, we do with these young girls. And their brothers as well, and their mothers.
That is so cool.
Yes.
So cool. So I want to talk a little bit about volunteerism in general for
Right.
both of you guys. What is it that you bring to your group, both of you, to help them realize how important it is to be a volunteer?
It's just your whole self. It's just your whole self, and it's just your desire to be a part of the solution. A friend of mine recently said, "We are the village," and that really resonated with me, because that's exactly it. We are the ones that have to do the work.
Right.
I totally agree with Heather. It's being your authentic self. And so showing these young girls, you lead by example. So if you're showing them that you're here, you're volunteering, because when I first started Beautiful You, it was nothing but volunteer. It was there was no grants. I was volunteering my time. And so now these young girls and the young boys, everyone in Beautiful You, we volunteer. They, feed at the homeless shelters. They, we have a community garden. They volunteer their time. So in order to be in Beautiful You, you have to be a volunteer first.
Heather, when we're talking about the horse riding, what is it that the young people are getting out of it? You talked about, you guys went from just being Ebony Women to bringing the youth into it. What are they actually getting out of it?
Right. And so a lot, right? And so the easy answer is they're learning to ride horses. But in honesty, that is the tip of the iceberg. As Tariiq mentioned, they are learning empowerment. They're learning self-esteem. They're learning to control their emotions. Horses can sense what it is that you feel.
Right.
And if you are bringing chaos to the situation, they are going to act chaotic. But if you bring peace to the situation, if you bring confidence to the situation, then they're going to act accordingly, right? And so our kids are learning to be self-assured. They're learning to be responsible. And also another thing that's super important about what we do at Ebony Horsewomen is that we create some crosswalks to careers and crosswalks to college.
Right.
So our kids, we have 100% high school graduation rates.
Nice.
Say that 3 times fast.
We're not going to do that.
And we have lots of kids who have gone on to college. We've got students of ours that are at Harvard University right now. We have a young man going to Cornell University in the fall, and kids just being able to have options available to them beyond a job.
Right, that's beautiful. And Triana, with you, we talked earlier about the feeling that some of the volunteers get with giving, how they feel. How do you feel now when you see, your girls and boys now growing up and becoming what it is that they have the ability, becoming their authentic selves? How do you feel about that?
One word I would have to say amazing. It's me feeling that when I was a young girl, I didn't have any hope. I didn't have anyone pushing me. I didn't have anyone telling me that I can make it. And to see these youth make it to who they want to be. We have young girls that dropped out of high school. 2 years ago, they dropped out when I first met them. And now 3 of the sisters all graduated this year. So to see them graduating and feeling a sense of pride within themselves, it's an amazing experience.
Now, you have a lot of people out there who always say, I meet so many people, they just don't know what their passion is. They know they want to do something, they're just not sure what it is. How would you guys suggest that people go and find their passion to become volunteers in whatever realm they want to do? What would be your suggestion to go out there, how to go out there and find it?
I would say whatever keeps you up at night, whatever is driving you, whatever keeps you up at night, whatever you can't stop thinking about, that's your passion. And that's what it was for me for Beautiful You. It kept me up at night. It kept me thinking. It kept me journaling. And so that is your passion. And you have to go after it. You have to just dive into it. I always say just have faith and just do it. And of course you're not going to be able to quit your job in the beginning to do exactly what you want to do. But you can find time, whether it's an hour on the weekend, whether it's 2 hours, on a Sunday. Do that thing that makes you smile and makes you happy.
Right. How about you, Heather? What do you say?
I would echo that, absolutely. And then I would also echo 2 words that you said, do something. Do something. Mother Teresa once said, not everyone can do great things, but everyone can do small things with great love.
Right.
And so just a little bit goes a long way. And there's all sorts of needs out there, whether it's organizing people in your community to do walks, whether it's reading to children at school, whether it's going to the hospital and holding babies. There's something that you can do. You just have to extend your hand and you'll find a need for it.
I agree with you.
I totally agree.
Well, ladies, I want to thank you guys for coming on here,
Thank you.
sharing your experiences, talking about your organizations. Hopefully this will inspire people to go out there and if not, create their own organizations to at least go ahead and see what you guys are doing and hopefully work with you guys as well. And just so that you guys out there in television land know, here on CTV, we're all volunteers as well. Other than people that you see on the news, but all the programming that you see here, we're all volunteers. We're trying to bring you something different, something new every single day. So this is our sense of giving, our sense of volunteerism as well. But anyway, moving on out of here, I'd like to thank Heather Lawson and Tariiq Kelty for joining me today. To find out more about my guests, please visit our website, viewsandvibes.com. Until next time, I'm Tariiq Walton, and this has been Views and Vibes. Thank you.